Everyone talks about RLHF like it's magic, but I don't really understand what's happening under the hood. How do you actually go from human preferences to a better model?
Hmm.
Are there fundamental limitations to this approach? Would be super helpful. Thanks. Well, do you want to say what RLHF is?
rlhf is reinforcement learning with human feedback, which is basically the post-training process that we use in order to align models with human feedback. The difference in these two phases is pre-training, we're literally just exposing text models like LLMs to a bunch of text in the 5 to 10 trillion token range. And the only goal of the model is, are you able to predict the next word given the sequence? And we've gotten really good at doing that. And the goal of the post-training is that we align with human feedback, So like,
yeah, you want it to sound like a human, basically.
Exactly. And the manner in which we do that, we have something that was written by a human being, and we have something that was output by a model. And we effectively want to say, okay, we would rather give the model a reward if it's close to this ground truth human text, and we want to give it a penalty if it diverges from this human text. And then you can start getting into, you can train a model or like the actual RL algorithm to be the scorer between two different generated texts. So you don't necessarily need like a human data point for each of these. But that's kind of like the general background of reinforcement learning with human feedback and why it's useful in practice.
Basically, the model that can evaluate, given any piece of text, does this sound human-like or not human-like? And then there's this reinforcement learning process where these two models are basically training each other for a little bit, where they're trying to trick each other into the one model trying to generate more and more human-like sounding data, and the other model trying to get better at discriminating, okay, when is this data actually generated by the pre-trained model or by a human? And so if you do this right, what you end up getting is basically your pre-trained model gets really good at sounding like a human and tricking the model that's been trained to discriminate when data is generated by humans and when not. Are there fundamental limitations to this approach?
I think that speaks to what you were saying with just, it's very laborious. It takes a lot of time, costs a lot of money to develop these human
Especially with human
practices.
labelers. Yeah,
Especially with human labelers. It's dependent on the quality of the model that you're training to be this value estimator, which is necessarily going to be at the limit bounded by how big and how good that network is. I think that covers it.